I've watched a few videos about Bathurst and Mount Panorama, and I've been loving it, but I think now would be a good time to sort of get an introduction into the track itself. You know, how long is the track? How steep and how sharp are the corners? Where are the really sharp corners? Where are the long straights? That sort of stuff, so that in my head I can build a sort of visual reference, so that when I watch a video about, you know, the worst crashes, or, you know, drivers side by side, I sort of know where they are, and it's sort of like in my head I can think, oh my god, if they're at that really tight corner and they're going side by side, neck and neck, they're really sort of like putting it all on the line. I think this is the perfect time for it.
Mount Panorama, Bathurst. This is one of the few remaining truly great road racing circuits in the world. Put simply, this place is a driver favourite, and come 10:30 race day morning, this stretch of road is set to erupt. It all started back here in about 1938 as a scenic drive, and whether
Wow, 1938.
you turn up for the first time either as a tourist or a race driver, and you take a trawl around for 60 kilometres an hour, the legal speed limit in your road car, it never fails to attract anything less than, wow, I can't believe what I'm seeing, because this place is narrow, it's fast, it's concrete line.
Yeah, this one here, you're going to have to slow right down, right? But I reckon there's some drivers who probably try and chance it and see if they can just hold. Yeah, this, okay.
There's no room for error. There's massive elevation changes. It's a track like absolutely no other. 170 odd kilometres an hour is the average lap speed. It's 6,200 metres of racetrack, 23 corners, depending on how you
6,200 metres of racetrack, so 6.2 Ks. Wow, okay.
count them. And when you roar through turn one and head up Mountain Straight for the first time, grabbing gears to fifth, you reach 265 kilometres an hour. And it's at that point you realise this is not your average racetrack.
So after the run through turn two, you start a 200km/h run up into a blind corner here, which brings us into the cutting. Now, this is one of the slowest corners on the track, but let me tell you, this is where Mount Panorama starts to get really serious. At the slowest point, this is the national speed limit here, about 100km/h. You need to run the car right up hard against the wall and get really early throttle. Very, very important. You need to run the car wide, but not too wide, because you need to keep the car square, because just over the horizon there's that awful bump, and it is so hard to get over that flat, and particularly difficult on used rubber. There's two or three
So you can't take that corner like a conventional corner because of the bump up ahead.
pieces of track in Australia that I think are really ballsy, and let me tell you, this is one of them. This 200 metres of track here is about as tough as it gets because of this bloody grate. We talk about this grate a lot, and why it's just like a roller coaster ride down here. The car gets so heavily loaded that in fact the tyre compresses up and pushes itself into the roll cage in underneath the mudguard there.
Wow.
What that does, as you're steering, it overloads the power steering and tries to reef the wheel out of your hands. Remember, at that point, you're doing 190 k's an hour
Jesus.
and only millimetres from the wall.
Why don't they cover up the grate if it's such an inconvenience? But I suppose it, you know, adds to the drama, doesn't it? But yeah, why not just cover up the grate?
This is the famous McPhillamy Park, right at the
Just for the duration of the race, and then they can, you know, pull the cover off.
peak of the mountain. You roar into here, fourth gear, about 205 kilometres an hour. Just to add a bit of spice, there's this giant lump in the road. It doesn't look so big when you're walking along here, but believe me, at speed you really notice it. At this point, the car rocks up onto two wheels, fires across the top of the mountain. Not that it bears thinking about, but on the left-hand side, on the other side of the concrete wall, there's a massive drop-off. Up at the peak of the hill, skyline. And if you didn't have the data...
God, that view. Obviously, the drivers can't really like enjoy the view as they're racing, but man, this is phenomenal.
To prove it in cold, hard facts, you wouldn't believe that the car's doing 210 kilometres an hour just prior to the driver putting his foot on the brake pedal. But the real story here is the wriggling that comes after, because you've got to make a transition down through these very fast S's and get back two gears, so that by the time you get down to the dipper, you're in second gear and the target speed's about 80 kilometres an hour. Another big story this weekend, a big safety improvement at Mount Panorama. Gone is the big gravel trap. It's now sealed, so when you run off, you can rejoin down here safely. This is the Dipper, and it's just an amazing piece of racetrack. As I said before, up the top, by the time you get...
God, those engines sound so good. Especially like I love Formula One, but that high-pitched scream, it leaves a bit to be desired. I love the low grumble of a V8.
Down in here, the car's in second gear and doing just 80 Ks, but it leaps up onto two wheels quite violently, and you've got to be very careful because you're grip limited on the right-hand side. Have to be so careful not to steer into this concrete wall that you can see down on the right. At the same time, you're juggling the gear lever, searching for third gear, driving through the gutter, and then firing off down towards Forest Elbow, and amazingly back to 175 Ks.
Conrod Straight. This is the most iconic piece of roadway in the country. Over 1 kilometre long and 300 kilometres per hour. Not just the straight, but you turn the car at 300 kilometres an hour.
Jesus Christ. Imagine turning a car at 200 miles an hour. Because that's what 300 Ks is, isn't it? It's about 200 miles an hour, 195, something like that. Oh my God. Forget it, mate. Forget it. In the UK, we've got a phrase for that. Squeaky bum time.
And you put your foot on the brake pedal there for about 4.5 seconds, as hard as you can push it. And then you've got to do it all again 500 metres later at Hell Corner. Now, that's just a verbal description. Let's jump in with Scafie for the real deal.
All right, let's do a lap.
Sounds to Panorama. This is the best racetrack in the country by miles. Hell Corner, back to second gear. Nice. Gentle on the throttle, up over the curb. Up to third. Exit speed about 130 K. Up to fourth. Up mountain straight. Over the rise. Fifth gear. 240 kilometres an hour. Hard on the brakes. Back to third. Into turn two. Gentle on the throttle. Up on the curb. 160k exit.
Dude, is there an experience package I can pay for where I sit in the passenger seat? Mate, I'd pay good money for that. That would be ride of a lifetime.
Break it up. This is a good section. Into second. Right against the fence. On the throttle gently. Up to third gear over the hump. Careful not to hit that fence.
Dude, he was so close to the fence.
170k, fourth gear. Into the best section. Reed Park through the grate. Use every bit of road. McPhillamy Park. Exit speed 190k. And over Skyline, back to third. This is fantastic. This run down through the S's.
He's so close to the wall, man.
Brake it hard, modulate the brake, get it turned in, and on the Conrod. 140k, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. A big run down the fastest sector Australian motorsport, and the fastest corner for a touring car in the world. The second in the chase, change the direction, up to third, use all the road, 170 Ks, back down to Murray's, final corner. I hope you enjoyed it.
Mate.
It's a very long day, 161 of those.
Phenomenal.
It'll be a cracker race.
Whew. The fact that that guy, that driver, could do that run while talking to us, incredible. He's done it a fair few times. He must be either a pro himself or a former pro. I mean, ridiculous. You know, to be doing 300 Ks, 200 miles an hour, right? Taking a corner. Yeah, it's a small corner. It's more of like a curve, but it's still a corner. And talk to us. Mate, I've never been that fast, let alone, you know, trying to talk to a camera, let alone moving the steering wheel. Absolutely unreal. I hope to watch this live. I mean, I just got to figure out the timings. I really would hope to watch it live one day, if not this year. Just need to figure out logistics, you know, how long can I take away from work and all of that stuff. But man, this unreal. It looks so much fun. It looks like a proper racing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you did, check out this video right here and hit the join button below. See you there.